Alright friends, I'm officially addicted to buying these Goodwill mystery palettes. For the first time ever, I was actually late, so the auction had actually ended and most of these had sold. You can see they have hard good palettes, they have clothing palettes. I really want to try a hard goods palette, but I'm gonna need to bring someone with me because there's a lot of heavy stuff in those. So I thought I missed it. Basically, these auctions start very early, you guys. And so if you come late, you're kind of just getting if what's left over, if anything. And the way you know is these bins will have a tag on them and they'll have someone's name on it, meaning that one sold. So a couple of these had not sold yet, which I was very excited about because I was like an hour late. And I did end up scoring one. They actually had a couple that didn't sell. So I'm learning something new every time I go and buy these. They don't all sell every day. So that's good to know because I thought if you don't get there right when the auction starts, you miss out. And I'll show you what I paid for my third one, but I am addicted to buying these. They have hundreds of items. It's lots of work, but it's a ton of fun and it's a great way for me to get a ton of inventory at one time. So let me show you what I paid. I'm going to show you me processing it. It's no joke, and then we'll get into what I got.
Sorry if this is making you dizzy, but maybe it pays to come a little late. I actually scored one for $40 this time. The last two were $60, so I was worried I wasn't going to get one. I mean, I didn't get to search through all the bins, but at least I got one. Let's see what we can find inside. One of the guys was nice enough to bring it out for me. Usually you have to roll it out yourself, but he was nice enough to bring it for me. And the first thing I see on top is a new with tags Gap skinny ankle pant. So that's definitely coming home with me, but now it's time to get to work. He said he's gonna clean up this spot for me so that I can put my bin here. And today I have hubby's huge giant truck, so getting out of here should be interesting, but it is now time to get to work. For reference, I am 5'6", friends. I am 5'6", and look at how tall this bin is.
Alright, I'm going to show you me processing this palette, and then I'll give you some highlights and tell you the reality of buying these. This is my third one I've bought this month, you guys. I just discovered these in July, and I am filming this in July, and I've already purchased 3. I'm addicted. It's a ton of work. If I'm being honest, it's a ton of work. This is not for everyone. If you already like shopping like Goodwill outlet style when you're digging through a bin hoping to find treasures, then you might enjoy this. But even for me, because I love going to the Goodwill outlet. I love traditional thrift shopping. I love doing retail arbitrage. I love all the ways you can find things to resell. This is just a Sonoma little boy's top that I kept for my 3-year-old because he's a small giant and he can already fit this 4 to 5-year-old shirt. Or was it 5 to 6? I don't know, but it fits him. So it's a lot, you guys, and it can be a little grimy. You can see you're outside, and they give you these bins. They're usually pretty dirty. These are things. So I was talking to the employee because you guys know I chat with all the employees. He was telling me that this is just like the Goodwill outlet. It's a mix of raw donations. So it's a mix of things from the Goodwill outlet that didn't sell. It's a mix of things that didn't sell at the traditional thrift stores. So I think there was a misconception. Some of you said on the last video that like all of this stuff is just stuff from the Goodwill outlet that didn't sell. Well, the manager and the employees told me, yes, that is some of it. But he said they get a bulk of stuff that is directly donated from brands. And the donations that go to stores, a lot of times they just send straight here because the stores are just overloaded because people say we are stealing from the poorest resellers, but little do they know. So many of these thrift stores, you guys, are just overloaded. They cannot take it all, so they'll actually send it directly here. And I was pleasantly surprised because I got a ton of American Eagle. I'm showing you some shorts right now. American Eagle, a ton of Aerie, new with tags, and a ton of Revolve stuff. If you don't know Revolve, it's a very trendy website that sells like mid-range to very expensive clothing. And I don't know if this was like a direct donation from Revolve or what. The stuff doesn't look new. So I don't know if this came from the store, but it literally had about 35 pieces of Revolve, expensive Revolve brands. So I'm going to save that for you and show it to you as a haul, but I'm going to show you me pulling out a couple pieces. And the usual, like I said, a lot of this stuff is not stuff that I would pick up to resell. So that is the stuff that's in decent condition that I take to my local women's shelter. The bulk of this I take to my local women's shelter. I did like a very casual count of a lot of this stuff, and I ended up with about 380 items. I kept 100 to sell, and I gave like 70 to the woman who's here. If you saw the last video, you remember I made friends with a lady who's a reseller. She goes to Tijuana and resells things, and she actually gives some stuff to her family in Mexico. So I gave some to her, and then the bulk of it I took to my local women's shelter. I thought I was overloading them with stuff because the last two pallets, you guys, I've given them hundreds of items, but they told me no. They want me to keep giving them stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. I got this American Eagle cute little crop top. Looks like this came from the store. It was on sale for $7, which honestly, you guys, that's ridiculous. It's a cute little top, but that's the thing. It's a little piece of fabric, stretchy little crop top for $7. Oh, thrifting in LA. Anyways, so tons of Target, stuff like that. Target, what else did I find? A lot of J.C. Penney, Kohl's, but anything that was in decent condition, I did end up taking to my women's shelter. I feel like the more I buy these palettes, the better they get. I shouldn't jinx myself because I feel like next time I might get a dud. I don't know. I also am the only person, you guys, that buys one. If this is your first video seeing of these, the last two videos, every time I buy one, the cashier is like, that's it. Most of these people like do this all the time. Like this is their job. You know how we go to the thrift store and find things to flip? They come here and they process like 5 to 10 of these. No joke. Like the guy that you just saw behind me was literally like making a barricade. Oh, no, no, that's the employee, sorry. But I don't know if you can see to the right through the crack of my bins, there's a guy behind me who literally bought 10 and was processing them and had set up, and he is a reseller. Um, yeah, so I don't have I just don't have the time. That would be fun. That would be a lot of work, but I don't have the time. This day you're watching this, I actually had to go to a real estate meeting, so I had to end up going home, showering, getting ready. Like, I processed this whole thing in about an hour and 30 minutes. It's a pretty fast process because I know things, that I'm going to sell that are worth selling for me, things that I'm not going to sell. And then they did tell me that whatever you don't want, you can actually leave here. This was the first Revolve piece I found. Size small, major L. This shirt probably retailed for over $100, you guys. This brand is expensive. Doesn't have the best resell with comps, but I could easily flip that for like 20 to 30, probably $30. And that's a more recent shirt. So that's when I was like, ooh, all right, if there's one of these in here, is there another one? This is, I think, Audrey 3+1. I was going to take that, but it was very, had a lot of pilling, and it just looked really faded, like it had been around the block, so I decided to pass. I kept this sleeping bag and gave it to my local women's shelter. Sometimes they are so, I was going to say congested, so crowded that they have to have people. They really try not to do this because it's a women's and children's only shelter, but they do help a lot of women that deal with domestic abuse. So sometimes it's so crowded that they need sleeping bags. So I was going to clean it, but they actually told me they would take care of it because I asked when I was dropping off, like, do you want me to clean this first? I'll figure it out. She's like, no, no. They have huge, like, industrial size washers there. So if you buy pallets, or if you guys, if you buy pallets like this, or you go to Goodwill outlet, or if you just have an influx of inventory and you're just planning on donating it, I recommend checking with your local shelters, you guys, because sometimes they need stuff that we're donating. Like, they may need socks, they might need underwear, they might take anything that you're going to donate. So it would be worth it to see if they need any of this stuff, because every time I do these drop-offs, they're so grateful. And they tell me that, sometimes it's great, they get a ton of donations, and sometimes they're really low on donations. I did keep this Zara skirt. This was in really good condition, and I just liked the style. I know we're entering fall, but I felt like someone could make that work year-round. Very cute. And because I got this for $40, you guys, and I ended up keeping 100 items. What is that? Let me get my giant calculator. For any of you that watch my videos normally, you know what the giant calculator looks like. Let's see, what is that? That is 40 cents per item. 40 cents. I don't ever have cost of goods this low, especially not where I live. It just doesn't happen. Even the Goodwill outlet here, you guys, is now over $3 a pound. So my cost of goods have never been this low until buying these pallets. It's a lot of work. It's very dirty. You don't always get a ton of great stuff after buying 3 of these. That's obvious, but there's so much in here that you're bound to find something you can resell. And look, I found 100 items, and I scored a ton of Revolve stuff. Revolve stuff does not move super fast for me. Full disclosure, I bought a pallet of Revolve new items 5 years ago, and I still have so much of it. So not all of Revolve sells great, but to get it for 40 cents, you guys, is unheard of in my world. So I was moving pretty slow this day. But I still got the whole thing processed in about an hour. Like I said, an hour and 40 minutes. I'm just trying to show you some of the things as I find them. I found this, what was it? Lauren Conrad? Couldn't even see because I looked at it. Or was that Lori Goldstein? Anyways, a very cute dress that I am going to send to ThredUp. Yeah, so this is the name of the game, you guys. I love buying these. It's a lot of work. But for someone who works full-time and doesn't have a ton of time to go thrifting all the time, this is amazing. I will be showing you a haul of everything I found. This was the wrong outfit choice, friends. I don't know what I was thinking. It's July. It's hot. I want a black long sleeve shirt. The weather here just... You can wake up and it's 65 degrees, and then an hour later it's 80 degrees, and that's what happened on this day. So that's why I had this long sleeve shirt on, and I was like, you know what, I'm burning up. I'm going to turn the camera off, process this thing really quickly so I can get out of here. You do want to move fast because the way they make you park, you can actually end up getting trapped in here for a while, because I did see a ton of like huge Goodwill trucks come in dropping off raw donations, and I wouldn't have been able to ask them to move. This is another Revolve brand, L Academy blazer. This, I looked it up, retails for like $275. You won't believe how much like expensive Revolve stuff I found in this palette. I swear it had to be like a raw donation. Maybe it was like customer returns or something, because they're not new, but they're not like super beat up or anything. So like I was saying, the Goodwill trucks I knew were coming soon, so I was like, I need to process this stuff very quickly so I don't get trapped in here, so I can make my work meeting, because they're huge trucks, like 18-wheeler trucks full of donations, and it takes them like an hour to offload. Well, maybe less. They're very fast, but I just knew I had to speed it up. So because I have a problem, let's go to the traditional thrift store and do some thrifting. I am bundling up a wholesale order for one of the group members. She got, this is 14 Skims bras. These are Skims jumpsuits that are sold out online. I looked up comps. People are selling these for $150 to $160 each. It's crazy. And then a bunch of Jeffrey Campbell shoes, and then APL slides. I've shown you guys APL. If you don't know, that's a definite bolo, you guys.
I'll put probably some photos on some screens on the screen. Those slides, they're a sustainable brand. They use a lot of recycled materials. They retail for like over $100 for slides, you guys. So this is getting shipped out, and because she purchased so much, I gave her a little discount. So I have been enjoying adding this to my reselling business model. If you guys have been here even just a year, you remember me saying, like, I'm not a reseller to sell to resellers, but actually doing it wholesale like this, what I was referring to was like doing piece by piece, like maybe selling a dress or a skirt, but doing bulk wholesale actually is not that bad. It's actually great, and it's nice supplemental income. So for those of you, oh, this is the reality of filming with children in your house. I don't even know if you heard him. He's watching Jurassic something about dinosaurs. For those of you that have access to bulk inventory like this, like I said in the last video, it might be something to consider, you guys. And I've told you many times, I'm very open here. I'm a one-woman show. I'm sorry I can't offer this to all of you guys. I just would not be able to do that and provide good customer service. But doing it to my small little sourcing group, I say small, we're almost at 100 people. But offering it to them, because not everybody's taking me up on the offer, Right now it's like 10 people, like 5 to 10 people. Doing that is reasonable for me as a one-person show, and it's nice supplemental income. So I just share that, and it doesn't have to be new stuff, you guys. You could, like I said, you could do this with stuff from the bins. Resellers are always looking for different types of inventory. So I am going to cover this with some paper just to protect the top layer in case she wants to like cut in. I really appreciate when people ship me stuff and they do this. They'll either put like a piece of cardboard here to protect the inventory because they know, we cut into these boxes, or they do paper. So this is actually paper I got from an Amazon package. I try to recycle as much as I can, you guys, and I'm going to make this look nice, cover this up, and I'm going to throw in a free gift for her, and this is going to go to UPS. Another little, oh dear, the 3-year-old's on his way. Another little reselling hack, quickly, I'll tell you before he comes in here, is, I don't know if it's a hack. It's using Pirate Ship. They will search the internet for you. You put in the weight, the dimensions of your box, and they'll try to find the most affordable shipping for you. So this is going to cost a pretty penny, but there's a lot of stuff in here. So I think I got a pretty good deal on the shipping through Pirate Ship.
All right, and now let's go back to a traditional thrift store because, like I said earlier, I have a problem and I love thrifting. I don't get the chance to do it very often, you guys, so when I do, I love it. I gave it a shot at going to a Salvation Army. I am lucky enough, you guys, where I live, I probably have like, I'm not exaggerating, maybe 20 thrift stores within a like 10-mile radius of my home. So I can try different places, and I try Salvation Army, and I don't know why, you guys, but I don't have the best luck at my local Salvation Armies. There is one Salvation Army here in Los Angeles. It's in Pasadena. That is amazing. If you are able to go there often, you are so lucky because it's huge like this store, but it's huge with great stuff. Other than that one, I don't find a ton of great stuff at Salvation Armies. I don't know why. These Tahari shoes for $7 actually aren't that bad, but I couldn't find any sold comps. They weren't in the best shape, and they were smaller size. All the reasons to put them down. This Enzo Angiolini, I don't speak Italian. Angiolini, I think. Angiolini. Anyways, I've sold that brand many times. It's made in Italy. You have to check comps though. I always find like super dated styles just like this one. Here's another one. I need to do some history on these because I'm wondering if the brand is even still around, because a lot of the shoes that I've sold are vintage and they look like this, but you have to check comps on the specific style because sometimes you can buy that brand and they just sit forever and ever. So don't let the made in Italy tag fool you. Paul Green can be a brand worth noting. You just want to check comps. These were $10.99, but they had some pretty bad stains and scuffs and a very weird smell, so I decided to pass on those. I actually own these. These are Vince Camuto, new with the tags. They were marked down to $104. But mine aren't Vince Camuto. It's a different brand. I love heels like this because the support from the lace random fashion tip actually make the heel very comfortable because your whole foot is supported. That style of shoes not super on trend right now. Hasn't been in a while, but it's a very comfortable type of heel. So I always like when they come back in style. It reminds me of the green dress lady with the heels. If you know, you know. These Stuart Weitzmans are actually a newer, I should say newer, within the last couple of years style, but they were beat up, as you can see, stains, lots of scuffing. Stuart Weitzman can do good if you can find styles within the last like 5 years. I wouldn't go past that because Stuart Weitzman has been around for a very long time and the older styles just do not move. Check the comps if you don't believe me. Boohoo, Boho, I think it's Boohoo. Why are these marked higher than the Tahari? Make it make sense. Don't understand it. I don't know. I just don't have luck at Salvation Army. So many of you that even live here have told me, oh, I love Salvation Army over Goodwill. And I'm like, what? What am I doing wrong? Why can't I ever? So many times I leave Salvation Army, I don't buy a single thing. That is very rare for me. As a reseller, I can usually find at least one item in a thrift store, even if it's like a remote control. I'm not joking. I recently went into a Goodwill and they had a whole remote control section. I found 2 remotes that I flipped for $20 profit. I can't find it here. I don't know, and their stores are huge. Oh, so and I love how organized. A lot of the Salvation Armies are so much more organized than Goodwills. I'm sorry to say. They just are. Like, look at this store. They even try to color coordinate the shoe section. But I don't know. I just don't find a lot of things here. So these Vans they had at $10.99, which isn't bad, but I couldn't find any sold comps making those worth picking up. I used to love selling Coach shoes. They had these marked at 25, and the condition they were in, I decided to pass. The exterior wasn't bad, but the interior wasn't great, and again, very odd smells. And you guys know, if a shoe requires too much cleaning, I usually pass on them. But no luck in the shoe section. I will say I was going pretty fast. If I had taken more time, I'm pretty sure I could have found a couple of shoes. But this was a very crowded day. I don't thrift on the weekends, you guys. It is my least favorite time to thrift because where I live is very crowded, lots of people shopping. So I had to move quickly because there were a lot of people around. Moving on to the clothes section. I like to shop where no one is shopping. So there weren't many people in the like sweater shirt section. So that's where I came. I did a whole video about shopping and selling things off season. So like I'm filming this in July. I love picking up sweaters, coats, jackets in the summer because a lot of people that aren't resellers, you guys, they're not looking there in the middle of July. They're looking at skirts, dresses, things like that. So this Torrid top I've actually sold before. It only sold for $19, so I decided to pass on that. I do enjoy selling Torrid. It is worth, in my opinion, looking up comps, and you could do all right with it, but some of it just doesn't sell for as much as other things. So with everything, like I always say, check comps. Here's a brand I always try to show you guys that I'm not lying when I say every single time when I go thrifting, I find Shein, I find Snell & Co., I find Banana Republic, J. Crew, Theory, what's another one? Boohoo, Forever 21, every single time. Karen Scott. There are like 10 brands I can just rattle off that no matter what, every single time, I find. Gap, this was a size large top I was going to pick up, but it had a giant hole in the back. BB is a boutique brand that can actually do okay, you guys. It's worth checking comps. This one looked new without the tags. And here's another thing about this store. They don't put price tags on anything. They just have signs that say like all short sleeve shirts are $5.99, all long sleeve shirts are $9.99, whatever, which I actually like because they don't mark things up by brand. Some stuff they do. Like I did find a coat that they had marked at $50. So 90% of the stuff though in this store does not have a price tag. It's just a one set price, and then very few things they mark up. So I do like that about this Salvation Army. I was gonna go back and pick up that BB shirt until she told me it was like, I think she said $8 or $9. So I was like, no, that's okay. But if you live in the Los Angeles area, all Salvation Armies are about to have a huge sale. Oh wait, I think you just missed it, you guys. I think it was actually this weekend. They did all locations in Southern California, all clothing was $2.99. I'm sure it was absolutely bananas crazy because they were promoting the heck out of that sale on Instagram, on like all over social media, and I saw it multiple times. I didn't go because I'm inundated with inventory, and this was actually right after I bought that Goodwill outlet palette, so I did not need I did not need inventory. John and Jen, this is a brand sold at Revolve, sold at Anthropology. I think they were recently, like, it's not called John and Jen now. It's called like John and Jen by Line. I don't know. Don't pick up that brand, you guys. I picked it up because I was like, ooh, this is sold at Anthro and Revolve. I think they were actually sold at Kohl's at one time. It sat for years. I still have that sweater, and it's been like, that's one of the longest that's one of the pieces I've had in my inventory the longest. I think I've had it for 6 years, and I just keep taking it down, relisting it, thinking it's gonna sell. I've worn it. It's super cute. Hasn't sold. That Laundry by Shelly Segal, that was a vintage piece that I thought about picking up, but then again, when she told me $9, I put it back. So no luck here, friends. Got to film an outro for this video, so I just thought I would give you some updates at the end. One, I'm addicted to these Goodwill palettes. I love them. I'm probably going to keep buying them. And if you guys keep watching the videos, I'll keep filming it. If you guys stop watching the videos, then I'll stop filming it. But I'm going to definitely keep this as a way to get inventory, like adding it to the rotation. It's a lot of work. It's not easy, but it is great for my business right now where I'm at, being a mom that works full time and can't source a lot. It's just a great way for me to get a ton of inventory at one time for a very affordable price. So totally addicted, love them. I would go multiple times a week if I could, like seriously. I'm so grateful to have access to something like that because I know many people do not love them. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this video because I will be going back probably once a week. So if you like seeing these types of videos, subscribe because I am addicted. Number two, what is number two? I think that's really it, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I was thinking if I had a ton of updates. I really don't. NBC's coming back, but I've already told you guys that. NBC is coming back to film me processing a clothing palette in my storage unit. If you don't know, NBC came to film me. I'm going to be on NBC, the NBC. I keep repeating it because I'm like pinching myself. It's coming out in the fall. I did a whole video about it. I can link that down below. But they're coming back, so I'm prepping for that, getting storage ready. And that's really it. Listing like a madwoman because I have not been the best at listing this month. So subscribe. Hopefully you enjoy. And I will see you soon in the next one.